Aloha. This is lesson 313 from A Course in Miracles with Hope Johnson. Now let a new perception come to me. Father, there is a vision which beholds all things as sinless, so that fear has gone, and where it was is love invited in, and love will come wherever it is asked. This vision is your gift. The eyes of Christ look on a world forgiven. In his sight are all its sins forgiven, for he sees no sin in anything he looks upon. Now let his true perception come to me, that I may waken from the dream of sin and look within upon my sinlessness, which you have kept completely undefiled upon the altar to your holy Son, the self with which I would identify. Let us today behold each other in the sight of Christ. How beautiful we are, how holy and how loving. Brother, come and join with me today. We save the world when we have joined, for in our vision it becomes as holy as the light in us. And that concludes the text. Now, let a new perception come to me. So this is our invitation to receive Christ's vision and recognize sinlessness within and without, which is really the same thing. So we're recognizing the sinlessness in ourselves and in all of our brothers. So this is vision beyond all fear. It says, this is a vision which beholds all things as sinless, so that fear has gone. Fear isn't undone by fighting it. It's by perceiving innocence where guilt once seemed to be. Right? So let's say someone does something you don't like. Here's a really good example. I was talking about this with my friend right now. Let's say you have sex with someone and they seem to not be good at it. And it seems like a waste. I just wasted that. Wow. And, this is, this is perceiving innocence. The ego's MO would be to project onto the person like they're wrong. But remembering these last two lessons that we were on, basically, we can only behold what it is we actually want to see. Like first we want to perceive that, and then we behold it. So then that brings it back to the truth. It's like this recognition, this new perception doesn't alter our reality. It's uncovering what was hidden by our own judgment. So it's like you just allow the love, the sinlessness and the innocence and the love to just be extended no matter what you are perceiving. The ego will take you into, oh, you screwed up. You shouldn't have done it with them, or whatever the story is. And look, if all you're perceiving is for extending love, who cares what the story is? Who cares? That's what it is. That's what we want to use it for. We want to use it for extending love. So, I was sharing a personal story about something like this, and it's like, it's amazing how quickly you can get this onslaught of all these thoughts are like, oh, blah, 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 blah. And how quickly you could just go, you know what? What am I even perceiving for? What is the purpose of this? What is all of this for? Oh, it's for this vision that beholds all things as sinless. This right here is the means for that. That's all I would use it for. I would not use it for the ego's purposes. See that? So love comes wherever it's invited. And that's what I did in my mind. I just invited love. I said, oh, what is this for? It doesn't matter what it looks like. See, the ego wants you to try to forget it in a way that you hide it in your unconscious and keep on projecting guilt on yourself forever, right? Or try to cover it up somehow, or blame the other person, or blame something, or try to get this kind of experience not to happen again. But it says here, and love will come wherever it is asked. Wherever it's asked to come. It does not matter what it is. The shift of perception, it's not something that you force. It's not forced. It's just allowed by this gentle invitation. What would I use this perception for? What would I use this for? Right? So it's like you're asking for Christ's vision. You're opening the door to the presence of love. So you don't have to be sour or angry or mean or anything like that. You can be in full appreciation. This does not mean you are stuck with anyone or any kind of circumstance. It does not mean that. Loving isn't like that. Loving is just pure appreciation, extension. It's recognizing that you would use these, and the means for all of these perceptions is the same thing. That's all. You want to see with Christ's vision, none of this stuff in the world, nothing that you do, none of your relationship, none of this stuff means anything. It's only the love that's shared between us that means anything, and that has nothing to do with form at all. Nothing. So the eyes of Christ look upon a world forgiven. That is another quote from this lesson. The eyes of Christ look on a world forgiven. And, when you look on the world forgiven, when you accept Christ's vision, everything is totally perfect. It's totally okay, exactly as it is, even if it seemed like it was unsatisfying. You had some bad sex or you had a bad meal, anything like that. It's not like trying to paint lipstick on a pig and say, "Oh, that was actually great sex." Well, it's not like that. It's you're recognizing that because of what it's for, it's really blessed, because you're going to use it for what it's really for. And that's for you getting Christ's vision. That's what you want. That's what makes everything really good. Really good. Even though on 3D level, it's shitty. You can just go, yeah, that's bad sex. Right? Or you can go, that was a disgusting meal. It didn't taste good, right? But what makes it truly blessed is what you would use it for, right? So you're grateful to everyone involved. You're grateful to the chef that made the food that you were like, man, this is like the worst food ever. But you're still grateful to the chef, and you're also grateful for the food. No, notwithstanding the perception you're getting. I'm not talking about denying your perception. I'm saying that what it's meant for is bringing you Christ's vision, and that's why it's truly blessed, no matter what it looks like. So Christ simply doesn't see sin. Sin really, in truth, has no reality. Your perception is your perception, but the perception gets changed because you're seeing right through it. It doesn't matter if it's good or bad. You recognize that's only a judgment anyways, and you don't need to change that judgment, because God's judgment is just that his son is innocent. That's God's judgment. It's not whether the food or the sex is good or bad. See that? So to see as Christ, to see us as he sees, is to perceive only innocence everywhere. So look, it's like even the food. Let's say the food, it's a bad meal because you didn't like it in your dream. It's still innocence everywhere. See that? That's what makes it lovely. So, and the sinlessness within is another thing. It says, "Look within upon my sinlessness, which you have kept completely undefiled." Oh, so beautiful. It's like that's the truth. And that's what you could use every perception for bringing you awareness of that truth. Uh, what's seen without is always mirrored within. So when you're willing to see sinlessness within everything that you perceive, that's how you know your own sinlessness. Okay, that your holiness. It's recognizing your holiness remains untouched by illusions. So what the ego is doing is trying to run away from particular illusions that say that they've defiled you, right? And something has defiled you. Let's say it's rape, just to bring that into it. Let's say it's rape. The hardship that people have with that is that they feel so defiled. That's why when I was in a situation a few years ago where it seemed like I was about to be raped, immediately I just went to recognizing there's no way I could be defiled. And I just couldn't stop laughing because I knew that I'm making it up and I can't be defiled. So that it didn't actually go to that particular act, but it's really just knowing that nothing's going to harm you. It's like, oh yeah, you're gonna rape me, huh? It's like that's not gonna do anything. I mean, sure, the body can seemingly be harmed, like a body can seemingly harm another body, but what really makes our suffering is not that. It's our idea that we have been defiled. So recognizing that nothing can hurt us. And that's even the reason why you'd be mad at the chef, like if you ate a bad meal, you'd be mad at the chef, and it's like they've defiled you. And when you realize that they can't defile you, you're just grateful for everything. You can even laugh at how shitty the meal was and have a good time with it. You might not necessarily find yourself telling the chef, or you might, that's the worst meal I've ever had, actually. Like, thanks for bringing that to me. That was awesome. Here, I want to pay you full price and even give you some extra for that.
So if there is no sin, there is no sin,
Yeah.
and there is no death.
Yeah.
So if I think I'm seeing sin or death, I'm seeing it wrongly. I'm seeing it from separation.
Right.
So in your example of food at a restaurant or something, it could be the person next to me is loving it. It's
That's
just
right.
my perception is what's seeing it. And
That's
I'm
right.
making up a story that is terrible and it's horrible. It's just coming from separation. So when I recognize it's separation, that's mine.
Right.
I can shift,
Yeah.
which is what the lesson is saying. The shift in perception
Yes.
is the miracle.
That's it. And I even have an example of going into a restaurant like that that's fairly recent, where I walked in and I recognized someone, and they're like, "Oh, hey, he was working in a different restaurant. Nice to see you," and everything. And then I get the food, and I'm like, "Wow, this is the worst sushi I've ever had." And he comes up, he goes, "How?" I go, "Actually, it's the worst sushi I've ever had." I have a huge smile on my face. And he's like, and his face goes, oh, I go, "No, you don't have to take it bad or anything like that." I go, it's fun. It's fun for me. It's fine. It's no big deal at all. Like for me, I just feel like it's like everything's really happy, like kids play. And he lightened up so quick. He was just like, "Oh, okay, cool."
It's just a story. I'm stuck in that moment.
Yeah, and it's not, you don't even have to say like it's stuck, because it's all story. Whether it's the best food I ever had or the worst food that I ever had or mediocre food, it's all a story, and it can all be playful. It really doesn't matter. It's not for us to try to make it something that it's not to us, right? It's not to pretend like it's the best food when it tastes like that. Actually, in my mind and my experience, that was the worst fucking sushi I ever had. Was I bummed out about it? Not one bit. I thought it was funny as fuck. So you're just playing. And he realized how much I was playing and playful with it, and he was fine with it too. I'm like, "That was so bad, I'll never be back, but it was so nice seeing you." It's just that it's not bad. It is what it is, and it's not bad, right? So bad is not bad. That was one way of saying it. So it says, "We save the world when we have joined." So like in that example, like me and my friend, we just joined in laughter, right? We just joined in laughter. And and like the sex one too, the sex being like, pretty bad sex. Like that's what the perception was. But what I saw was, what is it for? Oh, okay, it's for loving, right? It's loving. And in recognizing that, there's no need to, like, in that situation, tell the guy, "Wow, that was really bad sex." There's no no need like that. But there was just like no projection of any kind of meanness toward him or anything like that. It was just all love because there is genuine appreciation for the Son of God bringing me exactly what I need, just like bringing me the sushi that didn't taste good, you know? It's just like full appreciation. So we save the world when we have joined. We join. We can only join in truth. That's where I will allow myself to receive the truth, which is really loving and it feels good. And then that's what gets extended no matter what, no matter what. So and salvation also is not solitary. It comes by recognizing shared holiness. So it's not like I want to make anyone separate. I don't want to make that restaurant that, and like what I told the guy, I told my friend, I go, no, you're good. It's just the policy here. The way they make sushi just doesn't really resonate with me. There's plenty of people who love it. They're going to come in here and eat the shit out of it. Obviously, that's why it's in business, And so it's recognizing it's not solitary. It's like we're in this together and we're all just love. It's all just love. When I behold my brother as sinless, the world itself becomes holy in our vision. See? So no one's left with a bad feeling, really. And that's what I also, when I asked the Holy Spirit, how can I be truly helpful? I want everyone to be uplifted. And that's the God's will for everyone. God's will is perfect happiness. I want everyone to be happy. God's will is for everyone to be happy, and of course, myself included. So it's not as if I'm sacrificing for someone else's happiness, but we don't know how to do this. We don't know how to do this, except what we can know is that we want to use every single perception for the same thing, for asking for and receiving Christ's vision. We want to use it for that. When we recognize that's what it's actually for, that's what we use it for. See? And in another way, the ego's way, we would never be able to uplift everyone. But through this, we can. Because the Holy Spirit shows us how in the moment. So today we want to see with Christ's vision. In sinlessness within and without, we're recognizing and willing to recognize sinlessness within and without. That's when love is revealed. So you might start this day with a nice prayer like, let the eyes of Christ be my sight today. Let me see a forgiven world today. Right? With this practice, right? Now, let a new perception come to me. You might expand on that a little bit. Father, let the eyes of Christ be my sight today. Let me see a forgiven world. See? This is a vision that we want. So this is like reaffirming this. This is what we want to get out of the world today. We want this vision. We're not trying to get a good sex or a good meal. We're trying for Christ's vision. That's all we want to use everything for. And that's really what makes it good, really good. And throughout the day, whenever judgment or fear arises, ask yourself, would I look on sin? Do I want to look on sin? Let me see. How does that feel when I look on sin? Or do I want to invite love so I can perceive and therefore feel something different? Okay. In the evening, notice where you glimpse the holiness in people, where you could have been projecting, or maybe you were projecting, and you decided that you wanted to see things differently. You decided and you asked and you used this lesson and you said, now let a new perception come to me. And how did that feel? Notice. And how did the other person feel? What was their reaction to that too? That's what I noticed. Right? That's what I noticed in both of those examples that I gave. And I'm drawing on personal experience here. In both of those examples that I gave, the people were uplifted. The people involved were actually uplifted. Right? Because I allowed myself to see truly. What we do, like let's look at the sexual one. Let's say we decide that they are actually bad at sex. And so they've defiled us somehow. Maybe we've wasted our time with them or whatever. And we're feeling guilty about it. We'll start projecting something onto them. It'll come out underhanded. Like we can't help it. We can't hide it. That's why we have to offer it up. We have to get the relief for ourselves to be able to share this loving kindness with people, which is really loving kindness for ourselves and brings forward Christ's vision. So, this lesson 313 is carrying forward this progression we've been on. 311, judgment being exposed as false. 312, vision follows the purpose of forgiveness. So when you put everything to the purpose of forgiveness. And now 313, Christ's vision is being welcomed fully. It's revealing innocence. And it's revealing the innocence within ourselves, and it's joining with that innocence in others. So this is a really beautiful, it's kind of like a set of lessons. I'm seeing it as a set of lessons with the underlying clarification about what is the last judgment. So all of this is showing us how to bring about and be ready for, basically preparing our mind for the last judgment. So, hooray. So, twice today, AM, PM, and every hour, and whenever you would rather have Christ's vision than the bullshit life you made, now let a new perception come to me. Have a beautiful remembrance. I love you. Hooray.